The game you're currently watching is called Yumehara Kawase Fresh. This is the demo version. This was released in the Japanese eShop for Nintendo Switch, and it's currently headed towards us here in the West, and I can't wait for it. I've always liked this game series. It's a fun, fresh, and kind of weird, and I love it. You go around with your little magical fishing rod and, like, hook up stuff. It's pretty neat. A little weird, but pretty neat. If you want to check it out for yourself, then head on down to the eShop, or head over to Amazon. You can pre-order the game and pick it up when it comes out. Without further ado, let's get on the show. Hey, but what's up? UltraMag64 here. And today, guys, I got a bit of news to share with everyone. So, if you've been paying attention to the channel, then you've noticed that there has been a slight dip in content, meaning there has been none at all. Well, that's because I no longer am at my place of recording, and that is temporary, but unfortunately it means that I am not able to record anything for the time being. I've stockpiled a bit of content, but regardless of that, I just am not able to record much. I will, however, be able to do more once everything gets settled. And on top of that, streaming will resume eventually. Just for the time being, things might be a little shaky. I plan on jerry-rigging some way of recording some mobile games, such as Pocket Ponies. And yeah, we'll see if I can cruise on through this bumpy patch of road for the time being until things smooth out again. Figured I'd get the bad news out of the way first, then get into the good news. So, the good news is that I actually have started a Patreon. And for those of you that don't know what Patreon is, basically you give your content creators or artists or whoever a monthly bit of money, and they are able to produce the content that they want, basically. I mean, it allows you to contribute to helping that creator do their thing. And I've been kind of apprehensive on putting a Patreon out there just because of the fact that I am not very good at asking for people for money anyway. And so I just don't really think about things like that. On top of that, YouTube was paying me for the content I produced. It wasn't much, but hey, you know what? It's fine. But with Patreon, it allows me to at least have some sort of stability, depending on who all's donating and how much they're wanting to donate, and kind of have a little bit more stability. Now, granted, you know, fan funding is not always a stable thing. I would not suggest, you know, everybody go make a Patreon now. You'll get millions of dollars. That's not exactly how things work. And on top of that, I'm also still very new to Patreon. I've contributed to patrons in the past, you know, content creators I enjoy and love, and that's awesome, but I've never actually run one myself, and so this is kind of all a new experience and new process for me. The main reason I wanted to do this was because of my inconsistency during school and also work and everything else. YouTube has kind of dropped me down in the algorithm, so to speak. This is a common practice where basically if you're not consistent with your content, YouTube will suggest your videos less and less to people. Granted, there's ways to dig yourself out of this proverbial hole, but it's very, very hard. And considering I'm a niche of a niche of a niche, I may never get out of it. And so I decided that it would be a better way of trying to just do what I do if fans funded me. Now, granted, I'm not saying you have to do this. You will never be forced to give me money for anything, because that's not how I work. But if you do have the spare change to do so every month, then hey, that's an option for you. Or you can also donate via PayPal or whatever in streams and whatnot like you normally do. This is just another avenue of, or another way, another option, if you will, for people who want to donate to me. Now, currently, like I said, this is my first time delving into Patreon, so I'm not exactly quite sure what rewards to offer. I've heard the option of advanced content rolling through people and whatnot, where you get the content a little bit earlier than most people. And I could try that. The problem is I'm having a hard time putting out content as is, so putting it out early is just going to be that much harder. But I might be able to see if that's something I could do. Again, I want to keep things fair. I don't want people to feel like they're forced to give me money if they don't want to. However, I am also opening a merch store. Now, all of my updates and whatnot go through my Patreon first, so my patrons have actually known about this for a bit. But I'm actually starting a merchandise store, and I'm currently designing shirts to go on that merch store. It's going to be a limited selection at first, but if those shirts are successful and people buy them, I'll probably make more. Now, I've actually got two things that I really want to do for the time being. I can't reveal them just yet because I haven't designed them fully, but one of them is very life-changing, if you will. Anyway, so I was thinking of having a Patreon exclusive discount for the store. And also, for certain tiers of patrons, I will also play games they suggest, and play them to completion, basically. I'm on the fence about this option, to be honest, just because it's kind of hard to pull off, considering someone could suggest something like Little Dracula, or a hard-to-find game that I can't have easily access. But that is just the start of things. My Patreon page will constantly change and probably improve over time once I get a better handle on things. But in the meantime, I thought I'd let everyone know that, hey, this is what's going on. This will allow me to do more things, and maybe if my Patreon is successful enough, which, granted, I'm not holding out hope, I wouldn't mind, but I'm not gonna just throw all my things into that basket. But if my Patreon is more successful, I might be able to quit my job and do YouTube full-time, which would mean more content for everyone, daily content even, and even maybe streaming. But, again, I'm not gonna just do that until the Patreon is more sustained. Again, not trying to force anyone to, you know, give me their money, because, you know, that's not fair to you guys. You guys can do whatever you want, and whatever's most comfortable for you. I never want anyone to go hungry just to support me, because at the end of the day, it's you guys watching the stuff that brings me the most happiness. And if you guys are killing yourselves or bending over backwards to do that, then, you know, you have to wonder, what is it worth it? But regardless, I'm not the best at talking about this type of thing, but I figured I'd let everyone know and be as transparent as possible, so that way everyone knows what's going on and how things are happening. And speaking of things that are happening, school is finally letting out for this summer, and that means I'll be able to do more stuff, and maybe even stream more for a change. So, regardless of what happens in the future with Patreon and all that, you guys are still going to get more content coming at you very soon. The only issue is once school starts back up again. Honestly, the homework streams didn't exactly go as planned. Mainly because they weren't very creatively driven. They were mostly video editing and writing, and those are, I mean, I can do video editing, but video editing is not exactly the most entertaining thing to watch. However, next semester I will be taking a figure drawing class, and on top of that, I'll also be doing a 3D modeling class. So maybe we might try this homework stream thing again, since those are more creatively driven and maybe more fun to watch. Granted, I don't know how fun it's going to be watching Magnus 3D model, considering I have no experience in Maya whatsoever since, geez, 2007? Oh gosh. Oh jeez. It's been a bit. I need to brush up on things. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a fantastic day. I appreciate all of you who have stuck with me and will hopefully stick with me through this turmoil, and I really do appreciate it. But anyway guys, I'm UltraMag64. Remember to, I don't know, keep being awesome. Yeah, that sounds about right. and happy gaming. I'll catch you guys on the flip side with more crazy content in the future. Bye-bye. Hey, just wanted to let everybody know I wanted to give a big old thank you to Mixed Scales, my first $5 patron. If you would like to support me in this crazy journey of being YouTube horse famous, then there's a link in the description down below to my Patreon. From there, you can join the prodigal pony prince on his journey to become the most fantastical horseman in all of the world. I mean, he kinda already is, but, I mean, he'll become more fantastical with your support.